All right, so we are back with our Friday Professional Learning Lunch and Learn series. I'm Chelsea Culp. I'm here today with some great educators from Colonel Fred Cherry. I'm going to turn it over and let them introduce themselves. Today, we're going to be talking about best practices in co-teaching.
Hey everybody, my name is Dawn Cannell and I teach 7th and 8th grade English at Colonel Cherry.
And I'm Jenny German. I'm a 7th grade special educator and I'm with 3 English classes at Colonel Fred Cherry.
Hi, I'm Dalen Ripley. I am a student teacher working with Miss German and also Miss Cannell in their English classes for 7th grade right now.
Hi, I'm Dan O'Leary, principal here at Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School.
All right, thank you all. So my first question today is, what are some examples of the co-teaching strategies that you all have been using?
So I'm going to start. Ms. German and I have first period together every morning, so we have those kiddos for an hour every day. We do a lot of parallel teaching and co-teaching where we take turns on presenting the material and going over it. And one of the main things that we do is we work together as a team based on what I think is really good communication, really have a mutual respect for each other. And we present that information to our students as a team. And we tell them that they're the luckiest class that they're going to have because they have 3 teachers now that Ms. Ripley's with us too. And, we really just present ourselves as a unified team. And I think that I know the kids are benefiting from that.
Definitely. So I think the goal of an inclusion class is for the students to never know who's the general educator and who the special educator is. So when you can mix yourself within a lesson, especially as a special educator, when sometimes you get relegated to the side, I think that it's really powerful for the students. They do get the added benefit of 2 adults who really care for them and want to support their learning. Like Dawn said, that parallel teaching or switching on and off, it's especially useful in slideshows. So you can just plan to have one teacher go over the first slide and then the next slide is the other teacher. And so you're really splitting that weight 50-50 in the class. There's also the ability to do breakout rooms in Canvas, and sometimes Dawn is the one that does the breakout room, and sometimes I will. So the kids never really know who's going for what things, and that's really beneficial, I think, as well. It definitely helps our students with the disabilities blend into the classroom and really feel like a part of the community rather than this group that's sometimes set to the side a little bit in some classes.
I know just working so far with Dawn and Jenny, I think a lot of times a co-teacher might get into that role where they are just monitoring the chat a lot. But I think it's awesome to be able to do that. There's a lot of times where students, they might not be comfortable speaking in the classroom, or, a lot of times they just dropped a quick question in there. And if you are the only teacher, you may not have a chance to address that quickly. So it has given an opportunity for us to make sure that we are keeping up with the comments in the chat, keeping it, appropriate for school, but also fun and addressing things immediately as we see them.
All right, so what about a plan moving forward? Any ideas for continuing this great co-teaching relationship as we progress?
Well, I think one of the things we're really good about that we want to continue to do is just how we structure our lesson plans for the kids and using, the new model, and really also including some of the social emotional learning pieces too. I think Ms. Sherman and I both believe that you can't really teach a kid unless you know a kid and that they feel like they're in a safe environment. So, we also use a lot of the technology tools, but I think we're really good about keeping a routine. And I know as we move ahead, we want to continue with that routine so that the kids kind of know what to expect while still teaching them the new skills as well.
Yeah, another thing that I think is really important as we move forward is just continuing to do that data checking. If you see, based on the assessments you're giving, on the assignments you're giving, if there are kids who are just missing it, then that's something that you need to reinforce. You need to go over, go slower, do it in a different way. And I think that as a 7th grade team, I think we do a really good job ping-ponging different ideas. The more brains you have working for a solution, the more options you have. So I really, really appreciate that from my coworkers, where we're able to talk about, oh, you know, I know deck toys, I know Pear Deck, I know Teacher Made, all of these different tools that we have to utilize, and really working together as a cohesive team helps our students because we're able to pinpoint what's the best way to tackle something. And then if that didn't work, then we try something else.
Mhm.
All right, so how do you think that this cohesive team that you all have so clearly built, how is that benefiting students?
I know for sure our students tell us that our class is their favorite class, and we have a really good connection with the students. And I know that they don't see either of us as over one or the other. Like they come to both of us for everything, and we foster a really great spirit of community for those kids. Today we were playing a Gim Kit, which is a game, and one of the things you could do is give a virtual pie like to the other person. So Miss German pied me, and then I pied her back, all doing literary skills. But the kids just, I think, feel so warm and welcome. And it's the first class of the day. And our attendance is great. I mean, it's definitely probably the highest attended class that I have, because I think the kids, even though we're virtual, they feel that sense of community. So I know that they're getting a lot out of it.
Yes, I definitely think that there is a strong connection between a sense of love and learning. I think that a kid really has to feel safe and supported in order to thrive. And I think that, I mean, I'm so fortunate that Miss Cannell just has a wonderful, bubbly personality. It was very easy to go in there and also just be my, I don't have kids of my own. So all of these are my babies. So I get to give my love to them and help them learn. And I really do think that our students are more confident in their abilities. They try, even if they're not 100% certain, because they know that we'll never fuss at them if they get something wrong. They try. They really put an attempt through, and that's where you get learning to start happening.
I think as an administrator, you pray that you have a team like Ms. German and Ms. Cannell. And they are so positive and they are so encouraging, as they said. The kids love them and they want to be in their classes. And as a team teaching, regardless of what subject it is, if you don't know who the special ed teacher is and a general ed teacher is, that is the exact model that we've looked for and strive for in Suffolk Public Schools. And we certainly are fortunate here at Colonel Fred Cherry to have both of them, among other teams here in the building too, that do a wonderful job. They take equal responsibility. If one doesn't take all of the accolades and one doesn't take all of the complaints, they equal those out. And I can tell you as a principal, there are very, very, very few complaints that come out of any of their classes. And we certainly appreciate that. The kids that are in their classes are very fortunate, and we are very fortunate to have them here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm
That's
very
great.
fortunate to have been gotten the very best possible case scenario to be a student teacher in. It's been a joy to see the back and forth and to know that the kids are just, it's a stressful time. So to get to see them just thrive and be excited to be in there and be happy and be silly and have fun, it's been wonderful.
That's great. Well, an added bonus is definitely for you to have such a great student teaching experience. That's awesome. So last question is, what recommendations do you have for your colleagues or any final thoughts that you want to share?
So I would just say, co-teaching is something that you really have to learn how to do. And it really, to me, starts with good communication. And, not every co-teaching experience, I think, falls into things as naturally as Ms. German and I have. And you might have a different teaching style than your co-teacher. So you really, really have to just start with having that open communication piece, being, having a plan, being honest about the expectations. What is it that you're looking for? How do you want to divide up the class? And as the general ed teacher, I would just say to make sure that you have that respect for any other teacher that you're working with. And, we all have kind of our strengths and then our things that we might need a little bit of help with, and to understand that, the kids are the ones who need to benefit from this relationship. So it's not about who knows more or who has more experience. It's really about what are the kids going to benefit from.
And so I I'm in an interesting situation because I was a general education English teacher for several years before I switched to SPED. So I have a lot of content knowledge, which makes being in an English class very easy for me as a SPED teacher. But I would say those SPED teachers that are going into unfamiliar content areas, talk to your general educator, see if they can give you a little mini lesson before you guys start so that you've got that too. I was so fortunate to work with Ms. Ugalan last year in science, and I learned so much because I would sit and I would talk to her. All right, what are we doing? Okay, cells. All right, what do I need to do? So you really kind of have to make sure that as a special ed teacher that you've got the comfort with the content that you're going over so that you're able to step up. Conversely, I think that as a gen ed teacher, you really need to make sure that your SPED teacher feels comfortable. Ask them, hey, we're going to do this next week. Do you need me to go over it? What can I do to help you be comfortable to work on that? Because I think that that's generally when I see co-teaching arrangements that aren't so successful, it's because there's a difference in content knowledge and a lack of communication, like Dawn said. So the more you can communicate, make sure that there's a good collegial kind of relationship between you and your gen ed teacher so that you guys are able to really talk, plan, and make things work for your kids.
I think as administrator, you normally see the gen ed teacher kind of taking the lead. And I think it's just as much a responsibility of the special education teacher to instruct the general ed teacher of, hey, these are some things that we can do to make it more diversified for everyone. I think that's majorly important, just as you would teach an enriched class, same way that you would teach a special needs class. There really is no difference. You are doing things that are in the benefit of the student, as Ms. Cannell had said, and these two are amazing. So keep up the great work. I wish I could take 100% credit for it, but I can't. But the credit will go to the students because they certainly enjoy you guys, and they're definitely going to benefit from it.
All right. Well, I can't thank you all enough for your time. I think you've given some great advice and just a great model for others to be able to follow. So thanks again for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.